guys, welcome to day 2 of the unit circle. So hopefully trying that game on Sporkle and reading through the notes and kind of filling out some blank unit circles really helped you to figure out where the radian degree measurements are. I would also suggest having a blank one always filled out with you or printing one off, just constantly kind of checking yourself and making sure you're practicing on it, because again, you'll need to know that for sure for pre-calc. So we're going to also finish up some of the unit circles. So if you've been Googling unit circles filled out, you also saw these coordinates on it. So how do I find the coordinate point on the unit circle? You're also going to have these memorized, but I have some tricks here to help you with these. So quickly, some people have been asking me what is a radian measurement, so let's quickly talk about that. A radian measurement, okay, a radian, you consider a circle with the radius r centered at the origin, okay, like a graph in standard position. 1 radian is the measure of an angle in standard position whose terminal side intercepts an arc, the length r, okay? So the radian is that measurement right here, that terminal side, and the length is your r, okay? We didn't talk anything much about arc length this semester, but you will definitely do that next year. Okay, so that is what a radian measurement is. So let's look and see what's going on here. So let's talk about how do you find those coordinates. So suppose you draw an acute angle, okay? So we've done this numerous times in standard position together with the unit circle, okay, as seen below. So I drew an angle. So I have my initial side, my right there, and my terminal side. I know it's positive because my angle is going, or my line's going up. And I also know it's acute because I know that this measurement here is 90 degrees, and that is less than 90 degrees, okay? Where that terminal side intercepts the circle is a coordinate right there, okay? So that's going to be my coordinate of the point. So a 30, a 60, a 90, a 45, a 120. There's certain coordinates that go there. Well, how do I find those coordinates? Well, that's a great question. So let's continue on. So we'll take a 30, 60, 90 triangle, okay, to start. So we're going to be talking about this measurement right in here. So we're going to be talking about 30 degrees, okay? That's kind of a big little line there. So let's do a smaller one. We're going to be talking about this right in there. So it's 30 degrees. So if you remember back to special rights in geometry, you have your angles. This is my adjacent, this is my opposite, and this is my hypotenuse. Well, the hypotenuse on the unit circle always equals 1. The hypotenuse on the unit circle always equals 1. So if I look over here to my 30, 60, 90 triangle, if this equals 1, I did 2 divided by 2 to get 1. Okay? So that means that instead of this being 1, this is 1 divided by 2. And instead of that being root 3, that's root 3 divided by 2. Okay? So there's my 30, 60, 90 triangle. And that's how I got those measurements there. So that's how I got that root 3 over 2. And my 1/2, because on a 30, 60, 90, the hypotenuse is 2, but on a unit circle, it's only 1, so we have to divide that in half. Okay? And this is 30. So that's how they derive all those points, is they do that type of theory. The same thing with a 45, 45 triangle. And the same thing with a 60 being down here instead of a 30. And then figuring out all the sides from there. So that's how they came up with the points. And the points are kind of the same. There's a pattern to them on the unit circle. Okay? If you look at my adjacent is my x, and my opposite is my y. How I always remember that is A comes before O in the alphabet, and X comes before Y. So my adjacent is my X, my opposite's always my Y. So I think that's really important to know and to kind of note for tomorrow when we start talking about. So X is my adjacent, and Y is my opposite, and my hypotenuse is always 1. Okay? So we're going to combine that and put that onto the unit circle. So here are the coordinates. So you'll notice that there's degree measurements there and radian measurements there. We talked about those yesterday. And then here are the points. Okay? If you look at them, they're pretty much symmetrical. You just flip them on top of each other or slide them over if you slide these over. Okay, they're the same point, except for the negatives are a little bit different. Okay, same thing if you reflect these same points, except for the negatives, and we'll talk about the negatives tomorrow. Same thing here, if you slide these over, same points, and then if you reflect those. So really, if you only learn something in the first quadrant, so if you learn only the first quadrant, which is right here, you'll be able to reflect those by learning what's positive and negative there. But really, all you have to do is memorize the first quadrant. Okay. And then someone's going to say, okay, Lover, check, but what's a 0, 1? Let's think about it. So from here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. From here to here is 1. Because those are the hypotenuses of my circle. So if I'm looking at it, from here to here is 1. So that's why that point is 1, 0. Because I went, if I'm thinking about an xy coordinate, I went right positive 1 and up 0. Same thing here on pi over 2. If I look at it, I go, don't go left or right, so x is 0, but I go up 1, so y is 1. Same thing over here. I go left 1 for x, but I don't go up and down, so that's my y. And the same thing here. I don't go left and right, so x is 0, but I go down 1, so y is -1. Okay. To help you with that and to get a little further, I did also find another link that Praxis radians, degrees, and point measurements on the unit circle, and that website is right here. Again, I would suggest filling out a blank unit circle multiple times to kind of get comfortable with this, playing these games, going online, finding all the songs, kind of ingraining your head, and that will only help you to help memorize the unit circle. If you have any questions, log on to Zoom. If not, have a great day, guys. Thanks for stopping by.